Revelation 3496. From the 24th of July 1945. Signs of the End Times. Watch out for the signs which increase and announce the near end, and you will recognize in which phase of the end time you stand. Do not let earthly events cloud your spiritual vision, but relate them to the spiritual law which characterizes people's behavior in the last days. People's unkind behavior towards each other betrays this law, which is the direct cause for a period of redemption to come to an end. But at the same time people's spiritual law reveals deepest darkness in them, complete turning away from God, from spiritual striving, and therefore also ignorance that they live in the last days, that the end is not far away. But you who strive and try to fulfill the divine will, you who live a spiritual life next to the earthly one, you should pay attention to the signs and prepare yourselves for the end. And you will daily penetrate spiritual knowledge more deeply, you will grow in realization, and the correlations between the events of time and God's eternal plan of salvation will become clear to you. You will also recognize God's activity in earthly events, who uses everything, even the greatest suffering, as a remedy so that it can still be a blessing for the individual. God has always and constantly mentioned this time. He has pointed out the time of the end to people and foretold the signs to them through seers and prophets, not in order to predetermine the earthly course of world events, but in order to illustrate to people the spiritual hardship which is also the cause of earthly suffering, chaos and worldly decay. The spiritual adversity is to be recognized and controlled. But the spiritual adversity is to be recognized by the signs of the times. And therefore you should pay attention to these signs and know that you should now devote all your care to your and your fellow human beings' souls. For they are in greatest danger. In the end time the soul will have to suffer due to excessive concern for the body. Indeed, it will be completely pushed away from spiritual striving and from God Himself by God-opposing forces. And in this time of spiritual adversity God's adversary has great power over the souls, which, however, can be broken by the will of people themselves. And therefore the time of the end is constantly pointed out, signs are mentioned so that the human beings will be spurred on to resist. So that the human being will recognize the danger the soul is in, and so that he will learn to believe that God has put an end to the earth as soon as this spiritual law has come, which demonstrates complete affiliation with God's adversary. Pay attention to the signs which announce the near end, and do not pass by indifferently, but prepare yourselves. For the end will be dreadful for all who do not listen to God's admonitions and warnings and go towards their spiritual and physical downfall. Amen.